It's Tuesday, February 7th, 2012. This is the 404 Show on CNET TV. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jeff Bacalar.
I'm Wilson Tang.
And I'm Justin Yu. And this is the show where, do you guys know how to post videos
Do you guys know how to post videos to
Do you guys know how to post
Facebook?
videos to Facebook?
That commercial is funny. We were watching that before. That commercial implies that it takes
Can we
a
bring it
tenth
up?
of a second.
Yeah, it's
Can
right
we bring
here.
it up?
It implies that it takes a tenth of a second
Yeah.
to post videos to Facebook, is what that very thing implies.
Get out there.
So 12 seconds ago.
Do you guys know how to post videos to Facebook? Do you guys know how to post videos to Facebook?
I mean, it is funny. It is funny. It is funny.
It's more funny the way the guy says it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
think
the
that's what we're
idea.
laughing at. I don't think we're laughing at the idea of that. It's just,
Clearly, it's not true.
it's not a fun thing to think about.
When
Anyway,
you have 4G, how fast does it take to upload a video to Facebook?
I've never done it.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever uploaded a video to Facebook. I link a lot to Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine 4G would be a lot faster over 3G. It's slow as hell. It takes
Yeah.
like 20 minutes.
Right.
Plus, you can only upload like the SD version.
Yeah.
If you're on just 3G.
I'm not going to lie. 4G, LTE
Mhm.
kind of changed my life, especially in Vegas.
What do you mean
Remember-
change your life?
Well, I'm just never worried about having super fast internet anymore on my phone.
That was like a legitimate word.
Well, every time and you know what I found also as well, when I would get out of a subway with my Evo on Sprint, there would be like this 45-second handshaking period.
It takes
where-
forever for
where my phone would have
WiMAX
to be like,
yeah.
oh, it's like, you put a blanket over someone's head and spun them around, and then they wake up and they're like, oh, where am I? What is going on? This, the handshake on Verizon's real quick.
A lot
The second I get
faster.
out of the subway, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
where you been? We've been waiting for you. So
Speaking
So what
of
are you
things
doing
that
with
are-
that 4G though?
I'm just, I'm browsing the internet. I'm streaming off my
Watching
NAS.
sites,
I'm streaming off my own NAS
Yeah.
Flashing
really
people's
easily. All my movies, all 700 of my movies are streaming from my NAS 24/7, 365.
So you got your own TV network, is what you're saying?
No, I've gone over my bandwidth limit. is what
Speaking
I'm
of
saying.
things that are faster, welcome back, chat room.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to hear this for another 15 seconds, but
That's fine.
yeah, there's a little bit of a delay because the buffer has been increased. But if you want to join us back in the chat, you can do that now because the stream is live.
Yeah, the stream's live. It was live yesterday. I hope you
Yeah,
know that,
I
right? It
did.
was live yesterday.
Well, barely.
But it seems to have improved in terms of quality, so we're really excited about that. It's an ongoing sort of process, a little trial and error, if you will.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing to come out of this, let's just call it a debacle. Is that
Let's just call it that.
the entire office apparently is getting 1 gigabit internet
Yeah.
connected within the next month or two.
How sick is that?
So,
We're talking 1,000 down. Isn't that what that means?
I think so.
I
Does
don't
that mean
know.
our workload has to increase more?
No.
Because my productivity
We
is
can't use
at
that
its peak right
excuse
now.
anymore.
I'm no
it's still
mathematician.
transferring.
I'm
It's
no
still uploading.
mathematician, but I think that means 1K down.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know.
1 kilobit down.
1,000, 1 kilobit, that's it.
That just means anything
1,000
good.
down.
We're just going to be downloading a lot
And does
more
that mean
stuff at work.
500 up? Is that what that means?
I have no idea what it is up, but I know coming down we're going to get 1 gig.
Well, it's all about
Internet.
going up anyway, isn't it?
Although we were made jealous this weekend. Apparently, a bunch of people send in like pics from their own Wi-Fi
Yeah.
router and their 4G service and their service providers, or they're at school.
Yeah, we
this
got-
guy's like, I got 250 megabits
Down, yeah.
Down.
And he literally took a screen grab, this son of a gun. He took a screen grab of his college connection. He's like, check this out. This is what I've been
Sucks.
dealing with. Can you hear me back in 1996?
Does anyone know how to post videos to Facebook?
Anyway, there's a lot of fun stuff going on. I want to jump right into this story that just begs to be covered. We're talking about Congressman John Fleming,
Yeah.
who recently cited an Onion article as fact.
Right.
How often does this happen, number one? And number two, sir, you are a representative. You need to know that the Onion is not a real news source. Everybody knows this. My grandma knows this.
Well, I'm
How,
curious.
no, it's just like, how out of touch are you?
Well, that's the question for me. Like from a political standpoint, like, okay, how outrageous was this Onion article? And then I'm assuming he's lifting a quote out of it in support of something.
Well, he
No,
posted
does
on
that
his
mean
Facebook.
that he does that mean that he has just as radical and ridiculous views?
So here's what happened. This is an old Onion article too. It was very funny. It was titled "Planned Parenthood opens $8 billion abortion plex."
Quote, abortion. plex.
Okay, so then Congressman John Fleming recently on his Facebook page writes and this is the comment to the link to that story, more on Planned Parenthood, abortion by the wholesale. Are you freaking kidding me? I almost hope this is fabricated. I almost hope this is, I hope we're getting duped right now.
The thing
that
is,
this
it's
fake.
like a story within a story, too, because that Abortionplex article actually spawned a blog called Literally Unbelievable,
Yeah.
which is a home for like people that post onion stories on Facebook that don't realize it's satire.
Sure.
But it started with that Abortionplex story, and he fell into it. He's just probably the most political person that's ever fell for that.
Well, this
Another
is pretty
casualty.
Funny. All right, so apparently somebody grabbed the screenshot from John Fleming's website, his Facebook page, where he posted the link. And the first comment is, the Onion is satire. How exactly did you get elected?
Yeah, sir. How exactly have you made it this far? That blows my mind. If you're that out of touch, that's what's crazy. And I hope this is fake. If it's not, how do you have the mentality to even believe that such a thing would be created?
He probably didn't even read the article, right? I mean,
But
if
it's
you
the
flip through it,
headline.
it's very
Well,
clearly.
see, I think that he believes that it's actually true. I mean, he
Right.
posted it like abortion by the wholesale. That's like the fear.
What
right?
does he
Like,
think?
that
There's
you
like
can
an
walk into a-
assembly line?
Well,
or
that you can
something?
walk into a Walmart and get an abortion, like just right
Can
then
you?
and there. No,
I was being John Fleming right there.
can you?
Can you?
They're building an $8 billion like Walmart.
He's
for,
like,
just for
this
abortion."
is an outrage. We are killing babies at a crazy rate right here. Oh, man, that
That's
blows my
pretty
mind.
sad.
Definitely a story worth telling.
I mean, I just says for me, it says a lot about the twisted worldview some people and our elected officials have.
Yeah.
To think that this can actually happen.
Right. That,
So-
and I agree with that commenter, sir,
Yeah.
Mr. Fleming.
I'm sure the Onion loves stuff
how
like this,
the
too.
how the hell did you get elected thinking the Onion is a real publication?
There's no he's listening to this podcast.
Of
right
course
now.
he's
He can't even
not.
figure out how to go to the Onion. How's he going to stream a show? Right?
Good
Doesn't
point.
matter. We could say anything about him right now.
Yeah, it's a farce. Speaking of farces, apparently there's a new study here that's grading the online dating industry.
Right.
Turns out some positives, but there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of online dating.
Yeah. So this is like a new scientific report from the Psychological Science in the Public Interest. They're pretty much taking issue with these algorithms that online dating websites use to match up users with each other.
Sure.
You're obviously given like a set of matches based on a survey that you fill out. But the questions for the survey aren't really about your core personality. It's more about things like, I don't know, like what kind of food do you like to eat at night, or like
What kind of music?
what
do
kind
you
of
like?
music do you like? But those aren't necessarily good indicators of your match with somebody else. And they're claiming that it's an algorithm, but this scientific study is saying if you want to do that, you need to adhere to the rules of science and prove that your matches
So
are
are
successful.
they singling out any particular services that sort of?
They're singling out websites like OkCupid and Match.com, which are actually owned by
Huge.
the same company.
Are they really?
Yeah,
AC,
Match.com
right?
bought OkCupid
Oh, okay.
last year.
okay.
But do you guys remember, we actually talked about another story last year on OK Trends. That's like the statistical arm of the website
remember
that was
that.
saying there are certain questions you can ask on a first date that will prove
Guarantee
your
a lay.
Yeah,
Go on.
great. No. It will. It's basically that'll like find your
Yeah.
compatibility with somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe guarantee a lay.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like I'm gonna really upset a few people with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But that's what I do.
Tread lightly.
I'm not in any way, shape, or form. I want to preface this statement saying that online dating is not good. I'm not saying if you have had success with this,
Right.
more power to you. Everyone, no matter what sexual orientation, should be allowed to
Sure.
enjoy love and be in a relationship that they're happy with. That said, don't you think that there is something a little compromising about giving what's been a sort of organic process of finding somebody?
Right.
And I'm saying that organic process can happen online as
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
But when you talk about introducing algorithms, you're essentially replacing the organic falling in love sort of thing that has been happening for hundreds of years. Wilson has one finger up.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna. That sounds to me, honestly, to be very, very sentimental.
Sentimental.
Because I don't think anybody's really done the study. Like, finding a person traditionally
Yeah.
at a bar, or
Sure.
at work, meeting at church, that kind of thing. Do those relationships work out for the better?
Right, like what's
than
better,
online?
what's not. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I don't
And-
think anybody's really done the
Sure.
study on that. Because everybody has seen plenty of couples
Right.
who've met the traditional way
Yep.
that aren't
Of
I
course.
think you can
Of
come
course.
to those same conclusions that you would,
Yeah.
but it just takes so much longer
Right.
Yeah.
to find out whether or not you're compatible. If you meet somebody in a bar, you could kind of figure it out within 5 minutes or
Right.
so, whether or not you have the same sense of humor,
Sure.
the same interests, whatever. But
probably
online,
quicker.
you
It's
have to
probably quicker.
find the person first,
Yeah.
then you have to talk to them, you have to message them. If they message you back, then you exchange, then meet up in person. If it doesn't work out, that's a lot of wasted time.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like this is the problem with the internet in general. Also, is that like when you're out and you're just meeting people, it's a bit random. You meet people that you don't necessarily think that you would necessarily talk to, and then you end up discovering that like, hey, that's really cool. I never knew that, or I never experienced that before. And so you kind of lose that change. Whereas like if you go on a site like OkCupid, you're like, okay, I have a type. I need Asian girl, 25, makes this amount of money and does this for a living.
Yeah.
I'm not going to consider anybody else. And it's that self-reinforcing thing. It's the same thing with politics. Like it's great that we have all this free speech. Anybody can write whatever they want. Sure. But what ends up happening is that you only read things that reinforce your own personal view.
I also think that at a certain point, when you go through so many pages of matches, it becomes more of like a shopping experience rather than a dating
So it's
experience. You're not
commercializing
Yeah,
that,
you're
yeah.
not looking at people as humans. You're
Right.
looking at them as products that you could potentially buy.
Now, I can't speak from personal experience. I met Stacy in real life, but I
That's
have
the
people.
lie you're using.
I have
Okay.
people. That's the truth. Although it was basically,
Now, you
cheating.
guys met in college before.
We did.
the
We
internet
actually
was
we
invented.
grew up together. We
Before
didn't
the internet was
before there was an internet. We've been going out since pre-internet.
Jeff, 65.
What's
well.
but we do have people on both sides of
Yeah.
our family that have not only met on online services but are now married
Yeah.
with kids. So I am in no way, shape, or form, and
We're
I
not
cannot
taking away.
reinforce this enough. Putting that down.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
it's great.
No, but at this point, I feel like, especially in New York, that stigma is like gone.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I feel like, especially modern life, with the recession,
Sure.
if you have a job, you are putting in 8, 12 hours because you want to keep your job.
Yeah.
But that leaves very little time to get all the rest of the stuff done in your life.
Right.
And then go out and like meet people.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names, but I've definitely walked up and down the aisles of our office and seen people quickly close the OkCupid
yeah.
window. And they're looking at matches when they see me walking up behind them. They're like, I'm not on OkCupid.
That wasn't me. That was a
filling out
friend.
this
I was checking a
spreadsheet."
friend's thing. Yeah.
It's almost dangerous too, like the how quickly they like close things. It's almost like they're about to
Right.
throw the computer out the window. Like,
Right,
it's just
right.
like,
What do you guys think about? You hear a lot of reports about people cyber cheating, they call it, or whatever it is, where they're married to someone and then they have these online,
Right.
quote unquote, Ashley
like the
Madison
Ashley
related relationships.
that's also
Or maybe
weird.
Are
there's
you
not
asking
even-
if it's cheating if you're only talking to them online?
Oh, I'm not asking. I'm just talking about it. I'm not bringing it up. I'm not seeking
It's not a
validation.
person-
If that's
yeah,
what you're
we're not-
implying.
none
What's
of us are
weird
speaking
is
on
like we start getting to that really, really super gray area where it's like, is it cheating if you meet someone online
Right,
but you
right.
don't actually do anything with
Yeah.
them? But
Yeah.
maybe you do something like virtually or
It's probably cheating if you can't tell the other person about
Right.
what you're
If
doing.
that's what it is, it's cheating if you wouldn't
you
like your
wouldn't totally
spouse to
sneaky
see
about
what's going on.
Yeah.
because like some people think that like if you get in these long-term relationships and then you start to talk to someone else,
Right.
but in like in an intimate way, not
Yeah.
necessarily
Right.
a sexy but like an intimate way,
Right.
that a lot of people think that's like crossing the line.
Yeah,
Right.
probably
Yeah.
is. You know?
know?
And even if it's for work and you're just trying to really get in good with a PR person and they're attractive and they anyway, never mind.
Oh, man, there's so
on
much
a-
stuff to talk about with online dating, but I think the funniest story was about the involuntary flash mob. See, like sites like OkCupid and other dating websites aren't. They're not immune to hackers or
Yeah.
just people that like to troll.
Yep.
You know, remember we talked about this story I think last year. It was people were creating fake profiles of hot girls,
Yeah.
then messaging nerds, and then telling them to meet at the same place. And so, like 30 dudes just met up in Times Square where there was a camera you could look at online. And it was
like
they would
the
call it
Forever Alone.
involuntary Forever Alone flash mob. That just is depressing.
That's-
and makes me
that's
not want
just
to be on
mean.
Mean. That's just straight up cold-hearted mean.
It is, but kind of funny.
Yes. Yes, it is funny. It's
Really mean.
these people are maybe a little delusional.
Right.
You know,
right.
they're like, "Whoa, this really hot chick wants to meet me in Times Square."
Yeah.
I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but come on.
We should really get a female here I want to talk to a female about her experience on these websites because I'm sure it's so much different than the male experience. I bet they get messaged 500 times a day and by the creepiest dudes ever.
I think actually our own Cara Suboy might have done a little investigative piece a couple of years ago. I'm curious because the other, you mentioned OkCupid. That's like the big one for like the 20-somethings. Match.com, I feel like, is for the 30-something. eHarmony is for like that guy that really, really wants to get married tomorrow. And they advertise like a very, very scientific like questionnaire that they've developed over years. Does the article say anything about eHarmony?
It doesn't say anything about eHarmony or anything like that, but I don't know. Do you think maybe they'd use like a Myers-Briggs type of personality test to match you up with other people?
Well, I mean, according to them, they use like a heavily vetted questionnaire, and if you've ever been on one of those, it's like, oh, do you leave your laundry out? Oh, like, do you like spicy food?
So weird.
See, I think the best method is just, if you're on one of those sites,
move in together.
No, just if you see someone that you might want to hang out with, IM them and be like, let's meet up right now, or like as soon as you can. Like, don't spend too much time on it, otherwise you're at risk of wasting time.
I have to take your word for it.
You know?
That's awesome. We'll take a break. When we come back, much more 404. Stick around. We'll see you in just a second.
This is the 404 MRFers, the show where we all sing songs.
This is Martin from Denmark. You're listening to the 404, the show where we spare no expense except on the bandwidth.
Oh, low blow. That hits way too close to home. Was that our friend's John Hammond impression from Jurassic Park?
Creepy.
It's funny, actually. He wrote us in. He goes, that's so good. He says, hey guys, his name is Martin. I went to see the original Jurassic Park in the movie theater yesterday. I guess they were running it for a special time. And it was awesome. He's 20. He never got a chance to see it when it came out in the 90s. Felt an urge to make a callback. Love the show, guys. That's awesome. Thank you, Martin. That's awesome. We spared no expense.
Yeah.
So
except on dinosaur security field or something.
According to the chat room, apparently the video is 10 seconds behind the audio.
All right.
Yeah.
Stop living in the past, chat room. How about that?
The chat room is also saying that they're surprised you actually are romantic. They didn't realize that you were kind of a softie when it comes to meeting people.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm not doing anything a week from today.
Oh, that's right. That's coming up.
Yeah, it was funny.
It's your guys'
so funny
problem, not
bring it
mine.
up. It is a problem. I have a terrible track record.
Does Valentine's Day still
didn't
count
you
if
get
you're married?
engaged, like
I got engaged on Friday the 13th, the day before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Could I have done that? That would have been like the lamest thing I've ever done. I'm not saying anyone who's gotten engaged on Valentine's Day is lame. I'm just saying for me and the darkness.
But is it lamer to get engaged on Friday the 13th, the day before
He's
Valentine's
got a
Day?
pull.
Or is it lamer to get married on Halloween?
No,
I don't
come
know.
on. That
What's
was a
lamer?
Saturday night. What
No,
are
that
you
was
trying
great.
to do?
It was awesome.
Anyway,
You guys better get it in check. I don't know what your plans are, but you better already have them.
I think I really want to seek out advice from people who are really good at it because I'm not good at being romantic. It just doesn't register. I'm just not.
You don't do like the Hershey's kiss on the floor on like,
what is that?
Now
How
that I've
did-
kissed the floor that you walked on. No, you don't do anything.
Wow, that's amazing.
Stuff like that?
I think of other things. I think of like movie ideas and I don't think of like wouldn't this be romantic? I think of like, oh, what a cool video game.
Yeah. So here's what you do. You get a toy boat, right?
Okay, you realize I can't do this because she listens every
You
now
get a
and then.
toy boat, right? And you put a bunch of these toy boats in the bathtub with like flower petals and like candles and stuff. And then
Are you
Can
crying?
you say this like straight?
and then you have a little sign that says, "It would float my boat if you would be my Valentine."
You
and you
are
have that little sign on top of the boat as the sail. It'd be
You
very
are the
cute.
cheesiest ever,
I've
ever,
seen way
ever.
too many rom-coms.
Oh God.
I'm just saying.
I
These
don't
are the
have
things
that
you
in
have
me.
to do to maintain a healthy relationship.
I think what we're gonna start doing is trading off years. Like this
Wait,
year,
really?
Yeah,
Like-
this year is gonna be her. Don't tell tell Jeff what we're doing, and then next year I'm gonna have to come up with the Valentine's Day
Oh,
thing.
that's a good one.
That's kind of cool. So I'm free for a year,
Right.
and then I got to worry about it 12 months from now.
Stacy Backler
You still
in the
have to
chat
do
room.
something, by the way.
Is she really?
Yeah.
No, she's
Regardless
not.
if it's
Someone
her
told
year
her.
this year, you still have to do
Yeah,
something.
I don't care what she says
Yeah.
you have to do. You have to do something.
No, tell me. No, no, that's why I married her, because we have a cool relationship like that.
That's what you think. Talk to me on February 16th, though.
I'm in
We
trouble.
staying at your house, man.
exactly.
I'm in trouble. I am in trouble. Hello, couch. I missed you. That'll be interesting. Let's talk about, this is really cool. I think Bonnie Cha wrote about it the other day, but it's prototype headphones
Oh, yeah.
that can detect which side of your face they're in, right? So which ear they're in, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, usually there's like a left and right loyalty. Now, you're the audiophile, you're the resident
Sure is.
headphone expert. I know that at the end of the day, it's the ergonomics of the bud
Right.
that dictates which sounds get heard.
Right.
But are you really missing anything if you accidentally swap left and right?
Well, you're not listening to it the way that the producer wanted to
Right.
pump the sound through each individual
Or,
channel.
Sure.
I feel like the bigger issue is if you ever decide to watch anything like a movie.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like-
That is definitely a big
There's
deal.
like spatial cues for
Of
left
course,
and right.
like
Yeah,
when
like-
someone walks off camera to the left and you hear the sound on the right, you're like, "What the hell's going
Or
on?"
like the
Right.
T-Rex comes, the
Yeah.
sound comes from one side,
Right.
and then like you get scared because the T-Rex hops out on the other
Right,
left side.
exactly. It would really upset me if the sound came from the back and the thing's coming from the front, for sure.
This is definitely one of those technologies where you're like, how come this doesn't exist already? Because
Right.
every time you put in a pair of headphones, you have to look at those little markers.
Well, I like
which
the
is
ones that
ridiculous.
have feel sort of cues. They're like
Right.
almost like a braille sort of thing where,
Exactly.
they dot it on the thing and that's the right ear. bud.
So these aren't actually out yet. These are like a prototype style
Okay.
thing. But they have proximity sensors inside that can detect which ear you're putting them in based on the angle. And then also, it's kind of cool. They can sense when you're sharing it with somebody else if the earbud is further away from the partner.
Switch to mono?
And then it'll switch to mono so that
Cool.
both people can
Oh.
hear the same sounds.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
So
really cool.
it's all built into the headphones.
It's all built
so
into
it
the
doesn't matter
headphones.
what you're using to play.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Oh.
you know what else would be really cool is if it paused automatically when you get your earbuds yanked out.
Yeah.
Right? I hate that. It's the worst feeling in the world. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It might be coming out soon, but these Japanese researchers are looking for a partner right now.
I mean, like
Maybe
it
next
sounds
year.
like great technology.
It sounds expensive.
But yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be the next Sennheiser 500 HDs
Right.
retail $350.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean,
The monster headphones that people you see wearing on the subway
Yeah.
every day cost $350. I just reviewed the 50-cent headphones. $399.
Worth it?
Not at all.
wow.
They're piles of garbage.
Really?
Yeah.
I
And I'm
didn't
not
read-
scared of 50 Cent either. He's not the only one with a gun.
Yeah,
So
but water comes out of yours.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Let's be
It's a
clear
super
about that.
soaker on the side too.
And it's neon blue.
Yeah, but no, honestly, they're really bad. If you ever felt a pair of monsters, they creak because the plastic isn't bolted down very
Wow.
properly, and they're basically put together by 4 bolts on the side. And even Joey uses those, and one of the bolts came out. These things don't feel like they're worth
Well,
$350.
do they have good warranties? If
No.
you're paying $350?
That's
no.
the thing. They have your standard 1-year warranty. Same with the SMS Sync by 50 Cent.
Yeah.
You break them after a year, you're gonna have to buy a whole new pair.
Wow.
That
Well, you heard it
stinks.
here first. SMS,
good.
right? It was the
SMS Audio Sync by 50. The review's up on CNET right
What?
now.
How
Go
many?
read it.
What was the score?
It was like a 2.5
Out of 10?
out of no,
Oh,
5
stars. Wow.
I
Miserable.
honestly feel like they should divide the headphone, category up into. I mean, I don't even mean like internal politics. I mean like in general. Like,
Right.
do you want just way too much bass and to feel like you're in a club all the time?
Right.
And then headphones for when you want it to sound like what the producer intended.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are that's pretty much the bifurcation
Yeah.
in that area.
Right.
Yeah, because it's great. Like if you want to listen to Dr. Dre with like the heaviest beat
Right.
possible for your eardrums burst, that's great. If that's what you really
If that's
want,
what you're into.
Yeah.
How much are those Beats headphones?
The Beats headphones are $300, $350.
You
depending
see,
on which model you want.
I mean, maybe because they're so obnoxiously large.
Right.
Those are the ones I see all the time.
Well, you're
Everyone's
obviously
rocking
paying more
those.
for style because for $350 you can buy a reference pair of headphones that audio engineers use to
Right.
mix their music,
Yeah.
and that'll give you a much more natural sound the way the producer intended it to be.
Yeah.
But people want to have that look when they're hanging off their shoulders.
For sure.
it blows my mind too. Like every time you actually put on like a real good pair of professional audio engineers and headphones, you can hear stuff like people just like
Coughing.
coughing,
Yeah.
or just like their
A
shirts
door
rumbling.
closing. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
love
no.
hearing is the sound of the guitar's fingers
Yep.
on the frets.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Definitely
Love
hear that a
or the
lot.
squeak of the chair that they're on.
It's crazy.
awesome.
It's really crazy. But it's one of those things. People are willing to plunk down a lot of money on headphones.
Yeah.
So however expensive those proximity sensor ones will be, people will pay for it.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I want to talk about this McDonald's ad campaign that I saw just now. Actually, brought up in the rundown. Tell us, Justin, what they're doing and why it's the most effective viral campaign ever, inadvertently.
Yeah, so this is actually hasn't happened yet. This is a proof of concept by a designer by the name of Sean Click. But he's suggesting that McDonald's could use a form of advertising in seed bombing. Have you guys heard about what seed?
What's seed
It's like an
bombing?
environmental guerrilla tactic for to basically regerminate plant farms.
Right.
Right. So like basically you use these seed bundles and you throw them into anywhere, like any kind of field, and they'll just pop up after a while.
Right.
So it's really easy to do. Usually it's done in the air through, out of an airplane or something like that.
Oh, so it's not. So okay, so what we're talking about, and they gave sort of like an example. I mean,
Right.
is this real or is that?
This is not real yet.
okay.
This is just a Photoshop.
So
picture.
explain what we're looking at here.
So we're looking at a side of the road in California. It's like some random freeway. And this designer is suggesting that California should use, or McDonald's should use seed bombs made out of California poppies. But the genius part about this is that in California, since it's a state flower, it's illegal to pick up, destroy, or dig up poppies. So this is basically an advertising campaign that would never go away unless someone's willing to break the law.
So planting these poppy seeds in the shape of a McDonald's logo along the side of a highway.
Right.
Well, okay, like that's the advertiser reason. Like, imagine somebody a little bit more dubious deciding to do, I don't know, like a D-topping.
Right.
It would
Yeah,
be like
no, for
illegal
sure.
to.
Yeah, you can put any message you want in this.
How enforced is this law, though? I mean, it's pretty easy to step on a flower. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to look at it like that.
There's
But
like a swastika, like on the side of like a road. Like you.
oh,
would
it's in
think that,
poppy
like,
seeds. We can't touch it. Biggest symbol of hate ever.
Right.
Can't
And
touch
whose
it.
job is it to police these?
Exactly.
Things, like environmental protection, maybe?
I think the police would definitely look the other way if you were just like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fill in
Right.
this swastika. Like,
Yeah,
with-
I love how it's
do a
just
circle.
a swastika. That's what they
Yeah.
decided to do.
Always with a swastika. There's no way a corporation would ever let themselves be liable in this way.
Of course not. And
Just
Sounds
wait
more
till
like a
CBS
street
does
art
it. Yeah.
tactic.
yeah,
till
for
the
sure.
CNET logo appears on like I-95. Then
I can't wait. I'm counting down the days.
Should
for
be
that.
a Banksy thing.
Yeah, right. Although coincidentally, might actually be the most environmentally positive thing McDonald's ever done in their entire lives. so.
DJ Dissolve in the chat room says he would do a cannabis leaf
Nice.
Oh,
to make it just all natural.
All natural. That's pretty cool. We'll take one more break. When we come back, voicemails. Stick around. 404 continues right after this.
Yo, you're alright?
You're listening to the 404, the show where meh.
What's that?
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
man.
Thanks for the callbacks, though.
Yeah, we've been asking for those lately.
We've been asking for them, and now we're getting them.
Maybe something a little more positive though.
I don't know, man. It's tough to stay positive these days.
That's how I feel too most of the time.
Yeah.
I could go either
Oh, so
way.
it's no more high tech lowbrow. Just meh.
Meh.
Speaking of calls, let's get right to them.
Time to show the love. 866-404-CNET.
404.
You know, we only have a little more than a week left until our 1000th episode.
Meh.
Good reaction. That's exactly how I feel. What are we gonna do? I mean, BOL had that huge party for their 1000th episode. Are we gonna have
Dude,
to one up them?
They had a
somehow?
cake. You think we're gonna have a cake? We're gonna have a cake. Can't even afford bandwidth. How are we going to have a cake?
Why don't we do our phone booth idea and stuff as many people into this podcast studio
it's
as
already
possible?
90 degrees and it's just the three of us.
Yeah, this is bad.
You know what it'll be like with more than 5 people in here?
Yeah.
And the smell. Jesus.
And the smell. Jesus. We never got to talk about the Super Bowl halftime stuff with our callers. So these are from yesterday. Let's get to it.
Hey, 4-4 crew, this is Cleveland from Rich. Just finished watching the Super Bowl halftime show with Madonna, which is sadly making me reminiscent for the Black Eyed Peas. But I just thought of the perfect Super Bowl halftime show instead of having these performers come on and do just mixes of a bunch of different songs that no one cares about anymore. We should just have Nickelback on stage and give 10 lucky fans baseball bats and let nature take its course.
Oh, my God.
Okay,
He's like, and let nature take its course. He didn't even say, let them beat them up. But we know nature taking its course means the death of Nickelback. No, we don't want
wish
that to
death
happen.
on anybody.
Of course not. But it would be funny. No. We're
Not really. No.
kidding. Here's a call suggesting a guest.
Hey, 404 crew. I heard what I was calling about earlier. Okay, first off, love the show. This is Tim from Michigan, formerly, or I should say Michigan from Tim, rather, formerly the former video store clerk. I was calling real quick to say, you guys know who you need to get out as a guest? You guys need to try to get Chris Harwood on.
Okay.
The Nerdist, or at the Nerdist, if you'd rather, on Twitter. He is a comedian, former host of Singled Out, was in the Terminator movie, Terminator 3, I should say, and he is going out to film his comedy special. So, maybe it could help with Stacey's job. Doesn't she still work for Comedy Central, Jim?
Dude, so I don't know what he said at the end there. That's, I would love to have Chris Hardwick on.
Yeah, that'd be great. You remember him on Singled Out with Jenny McCarthy?
Of course.
Yeah, he was pretty funny.
He's ageless, too. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that?
No, he
He
does
looks
look
so
the same.
freaking good.
Now he runs that website, The Nerdist. And there's
Yeah,
a
he's
podcast
super
now.
popular, man.
So, yeah.
I would love. I feel like he's too big time for us.
Well, if
Too
anyone
big
has a
time?
connection.
Yeah, if anyone has a connection, like Twitter bombing him. No. I mean, I would love to do it. I'll get in touch with my G4 peeps. Maybe
Yeah.
we can, arrange something.
Yeah, maybe we can
You
come
know?
up with something.
We'll
for the
hit up our
1000
buddy
episode.
Kevin Pereira. See if he can call in a favor. He
Peter
also does.
Hahn?
What does he also do? He also hosts that Walking Dead follow-up show on AMC. He does a good
Talking
job.
Dead.
yeah.
Talking Dead.
I think it's called that.
I think it is. It's just a funny name. Yeah. So that would be all kinds of ass kicking fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if he's in New York, we can make it happen. I took Spanish in high school. I don't really. This guy left us a call in Spanish. I don't know. I hope he's being nice.
Uh-oh.
He said he's gonna deliver the 404 in Spanish for us.
All right.
Spanish a little rusty.
Okay.
It's been like
How long?
about
has it been?
12 years
High
since
school?
I took Spanish.
Yeah, same.
Okay?
Okay.
So, I don't really. Maybe if Natalie was here, she'd be like, "Oh my God, can't believe you played that." But anyway, let's hear it.
Hello, 404. This is Arkansas from Marlin, and just calling if you guys were aware of the increasing Hispanic population listening to your podcast.
Really?
Since you guys don't have any Spanish audio, I'm going to use the Spanish version of the 404. Here we go. Hola, buenos días. Yo soy Jeff Bacala y tengo un pipi grande. Yo soy Justin Yu y tengo un pipi chiquito. Y yo soy Wilson Tang y a mí me gustan los pipis. Y este es el show donde hablamos de pipis. Thank you, guys.
All right.
No idea.
All right. I didn't get really
I heard
any
no
of that.
tango.
I heard Wilson
have.
likes something.
Yeah, I heard we talk. I think that's what oblamos means.
I heard no
I hope.
tango.
I really hope we didn't just play something terrible.
Yeah,
is
someone
what I'm
translate
hoping.
for
Yeah, we'll wait 15 seconds for the champ to hear that. We'll see what they have to say. Speaking of delays and how, we are live now. Someone called up and says there are some advantages to you not being live. Let's hear it.
Hey, 404. This is Long Island from Christian. I just wanted to give my take on you guys not being live. And in a way, I think it's a good thing, and in a way, it's a bad thing. I just was saying that, let's say if you, through the bandwidth issue, that you can't do it live, that a compromise would be to get your the way to get it, from either iTunes or from CNET.com, have it more available earlier than you rarely have it.
All right, so he's saying that when because we're not going live, which we are now, and then all that is moot, I guess. But we still couldn't get the show up earlier.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with
those
how
two
to-
things are totally unrelated. So just to give a little transparency here, that's not the case. But, things are working well so far, so we'll see. Justin, your eyes are getting super wide.
The translations are coming in through the chat room.
I don't think those are.
I think we need some censorship.
I don't think that was that.
I don't know if we should.
I don't think that was that.
No?
I think they just heard that and they were.
I heard that too.
Yeah, they heard PP. I don't think the Spanish word for penis is PP. Okay.
Maybe. What if it is just?
It's not
PP. Like, what if he's talking about pee?
Just like urine?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do we need to block that out?
Moving
we'll
along.
figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Probably should have vetted that before. Just
we should have learned
There's gotta be
Spanish.
one Spanish speaker in the office.
Oh, God.
Google Translate. Right?
This is the most passive-aggressive negative call we've ever gotten.
Hey, 404, it's Connecticut from Greg. I've been listening for a couple of years now, and I love the show, and that's why it kind of hurts me to hate on you a little bit. But Wilson, will you please just stop laughing into the microphone? The show's kind of become Wilson Pang's laugh featuring three guys in the background. All right, I love you guys anyway, and I'm really sorry.
That's good criticism.
It's always been a balance.
That's good criticism.
you
You
know
gotta
what?
lean away from the mic, like that guy from Chocolate Rain. Like you gotta, like Tay-Zonde, you gotta lean away when you're laughing. Yeah.
Well, I don't know
Or
if you
just
should get
don't
that high
laugh
pitched, but it's pretty good though. Nevertheless, right?
But it doesn't work the same way without the laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotta
right.
I
find
love
that
it,
balance.
dude. Don't you dare change.
There should be like a laugh mic, maybe.
Don't you?
This is like set
A
lower,
separate
like
mic.
a laugh
Imagine we
mic.
could have like a sitcom sort of like
That'd
track,
be
laugh
great.
track. Let's get to some emails. This is Kevin M. from Chicago says, I'm one of the guys who clicks on Facebook ads. We've been talking about this a lot lately. I must have shared enough info that I get photography ads, graphic design jobs, engineering software ads. His eyes eventually go to the right side of the Facebook launch page. Facebook pretty much knows my activities and interests, and they're doing a good job at marketing to me, better so than Google.
Wow.
Still not clicking on that stuff.
Love that
though.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This is...
Is it an @facebook.com email address? Is that what...
no. I don't think anyone uses one
So
of
this
those.
guy's saying if they're going to market to you anyway, you might as well give them all your information to have more relevant ads.
Might as well.
That
You know?
kind of makes sense.
Maybe in your twisted little mind. Takashi and Jane from Tokyo say, yesterday's show you guys talked about Castle in the Sky having the Twitter record, and we sounded amazed that it was the rerun that smashed the record. But in actuality, it was an organized mass tweet among the Japanese anime fans and Twitter addicts that try to break down the Twitter services. So it was like this organized Twitter bomb that caused the record to be broken. So I guess that still counts technically, but it comes from a much less organic place.
Right.
All right. And finally, we got an email from Andy. Of course, we talked about the Odyssey Lower East Side speaker doc the other day.
Have you heard anything back
brilliant
from
piece
that
of
company
work.
yet?
No.
Yeah.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Your email's getting bounced back. now? Is that
Maybe I'm just...
They're probably trying to get in touch with 50 Cent right now to make their way over to the office.
I'm more worried about him than I am either. But he, I guess, we obviously took a very comical, snarky, skewed approach at covering that. But Andy maybe took a more realistic approach at it. He says, the Lower East Side device is probably not intended for New Yorkers. I think that's fair. I think that's a given, right? In fact, he thinks it's for those people outside of New York who think that having something with New York references somehow makes them more hipstery and chic.
That makes sense.
I know that in my cultureless wasteland in Australia, bogans will clamor for things which somehow define them as more fashionable. What better way to do so than buying something which has a tenuous link with the culture capital of the world? He's maybe onto something there. Yeah, that was the whole thing. Don't send this to the New York address.
Yeah.
You should have sent this out to San Francisco, maybe.
Right.
To review.
Hey, come on.
But,
Even San Franciscans aren't that bad.
No, you guys are terrible. You guys
Our
are
own stuff to
just
worry about.
awful. We're kidding. Of course, we're kidding. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for calling in and emailing. To do so, it's 866-404-CNET, or our email is the404@cnet.com. Leave us a call back. Call our phone number and say, hey, this is your name there. And this is the show where yada, yada, yada. And I swear, if someone calls in and says yada, 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 I will punch you in the face over the internet.
I'll track you down.
Track you down. And that's going to do it for us.
Cool.
You guys want to leave us with anything or no?
No, but it is nice to have the chat room back.
It is really nice, and hopefully this continues. And I just want to take a second to thank Justin Eckhouse, who's out in SF, who's on top of this, Mr. Beecham, and the Yo Space crew, who is continuing to troubleshoot the issue and trying to get us the most reliable stream possible.
Yes.
So that's pretty freaking awesome. They're working around the clock to do that. Hopefully it's working out. Let us know how it's going, chat room and live listeners. Send us an email and let us know how it goes for you. All right,
Cool.
That's going to do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow. Until then, I'm Jeff Bagalar.
I'm Wilson Tang.
And I'm Justin Yu.
It's the 404 High Tech, Lowbrow. Good to be back live. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning.